We good? Okay. Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting, the closed council meeting to order for May 19th, 2025 at 6 p.m. And at this time, I would like to ask Councilmember Basco to lead us in the flag salute. Ready, salute. Good evening, everybody. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if the city clerk can have roll call.
Yes. Councilmember Ashbeck? Here. Councilmember Baskel? Here. Councilmember Bessinger?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pierce?
Here.
And Mayor Moanatua?
Here. Okay, this evening we have a couple presentations and proclamations. The first one is a presentation of a check to the Central California Honor Flight by the Hot Rods Fresno. And so if you guys can come to the podium, I'd love to hear you guys, and this is all yours. Go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you, City Council, for allowing us, Hot Rods Fresno, to have a very successful second car show in beautiful downtown Clovis. Last year, we gave $10,000 to Leukemia Lymphoma Society. This year, as a club, we decided to give our money to the Central Valley Honor Flight. And we have Paul Leffler here to accept the check from us tonight. We have a number of Hot Rod Fresno members that came as well. And we want to thank you very much for allowing us to move our car show here. It has been a great experience. We had beautiful weather on our second Saturday in April. And we just want to thank you very much. And we love helping. We are a nonprofit, charitable hot rod organization. And at the end of each Saturday, we give thousands of dollars to someone or a club right here in Fresno or Clovis. And we all feel very good about it. That's what we like to do. And nice. Thank you for downtown Clovis.
We ordered the weather just for you. You're welcome.
It was
very, we have pull.
And we appreciate it. Thank you. It was a great day.
Yeah, it was a great day.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Paul? Yeah, we're going to get everybody. We're actually going to go take a check in a second. All right. Take a picture in a second.
Wow.
20,000.
Yes, we would.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Wow.
That's so awesome.
20,000. That's good. Very generous. Hey, how you doing, Peter? How you doing?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
She ran the whole thing. She needs to get in a picture.
I agree then.
Paul, did you want to say anything? Yeah, please, yes. Yeah.
Well, the only thing I can say is something I think everyone in here already knows, is that we live in a special place filled with special people. And because of the generosity of people like the people in this room And all these hot rodders, we've been blessed to take almost 2,100 veterans to their memorials since we started in 2013. We have over 400 on our waiting list, so we need to keep it going, so this donation will make a big difference. And from the day that we started, Clovis has been at the center of it all. So we appreciate Clovis and everything it stands for, and you are a great ambassador for our entire valley and an example to other communities. So thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
And the biggest thanks to Hot Rods Fresno.
Yes. Any comments? Okay. Thank you for that. Next is item 2, is a presentation of the 2025 CENCAL APA Urban Design Award of Excellence for the Loma Vista Green Project. Okay, Renee.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Tonight, I am very honored to announce that the Loma Vista Village Green has been selected and is receiving the 2025 Urban Design Award of Excellence from the Central California section of the American Planning Association. The vision for Loma Vista, as some of you know, started more than 20 years ago. That's 2 directors ago, John Wright, Dwight Kroll, so it's been a vision for a long time. I would be remiss if I didn't also mention Terry Broussard, who was very critical in really identifying and sketching out the concept for the Village Green. It was part of the 2003 Southeast Area Specific Plan, which later we know it as the Loma Vista Specific Plan. The vision for this vital urban center really came to reality when the 6-acre park was completed and opened last summer, so last July. As you can see on the screen, the Village Green embraces a Spanish colonial architectural style that complements the craftsman-era design of Loma Vista. The Village Green connects to the greater Loma Vista area by way of over 22 miles. It also has access to public transit. Some of the main features at this park include a plaza, a performing arts amphitheater, lots of passive open green space, and space for food trucks. With me tonight is Carolina Illick, who would like to say a few words and present this Award of Excellence plaque to the council.
Thank you, Renee. Good afternoon, Mayor, council members. It is my pleasure to be here on behalf of the Central California American Planning Association to present this award to you tonight. I participated on the jury as a CENCAL APA Awards Coordinator and listened to the accolades by the jury in awarding this project. This is the Urban Design Award, and this is the Award of Excellence for this project. We were so pleased to be able to recommend this for award, and as I understand, it has now been submitted to the State American Planning Association, so we are really hoping that this project goes through. I had the opportunity just now, before coming here, to go visit this location with Dwight Kroll, who I know very well from my days with him on the American Planning Association Board of Directors and actually planning the APA conference statewide a couple years ago that was held in downtown Fresno and parts of Clovis. And he was able to give me a very quick tour of the area. And I have to say, I'm just so incredibly impressed with the area itself, with the ability of the area to host celebratory events, with the density that's coming in around the park location, and with all of the transportation and transit and pedestrian amenities that are going to be coming forward to provide access to this beautiful space. So with that, as CENCAL APA Awards Coordinator, I would like to present you this award on behalf of the Board of Directors of the CENCAL APA. Can I present this to you to receive?
Please. And thank you very much. Dwight, please come up as well. Dwight, and all your planning staff.
Renee, I thought you were going
Yeah.
to say that this award started on a napkin. And it actually did start on a piece of paper in this chambers by that man, and his sketches look exactly
Where's
like the drawing.
rest of the planning?
Come on, planners.
Yes, all of you come up. Yep. You hold it. Yeah, you hold it down. You guys did all the work. Yep. hold on to it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Tell us when we win the state.
Yeah. Excellent job, everybody involved on the staff level, all the way from, like you said, from Dwight being here to you, Renee. Excellent work. Congratulations. Okay, third, we have a proclamation declaring May 18th through the 24th as National Public Works Week, and I'm going to have Councilmember Ashbeck read the proclamation.
Thanks, Vaughn. Also known as the week with the best barbecue in Clovis. All right, whereas Public Works focuses on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Clovis. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of Public Works employees at all levels of government that are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water and wastewater treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the city of Clovis to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the American Public Works Association has chosen people, purpose, and presence as the theme for this year's National Public Works Week to highlight the exceptional services Public Works provides to communities. And whereas the year 2025 marks the 65th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by APWA, now therefore be it resolved that the Clovis City Council, on behalf of the citizens of Clovis, does declare May 18 through 24, 2025 as National Public Works Week, and it is signed by our Mayor, Moana Tua. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On behalf of the American Public Works Association and the City of Clovis Public Utilities Department and the Clovis Public Works Employees Association, we would like to thank you for proclaiming the week of May 18th through the 24th as National Public Works Week. We are honored to stand before you to recognize the vital part of our city's success, our public works professionals. And this week, we proudly join communities across the country in celebrating National Public Works Week. The American Public Works Association, APWA, was established in 1937 and has over 32,000 members. In 1960, APWA instituted the National Public Works Week to raise awareness and celebrate the important role that public works plays in our communities. And this year, we are celebrating the 65th annual National Public Works Week. And this year's theme is people, purpose, and presence, which reflects how essential public works is to the daily lives of every resident. And public works employees maintain and protect the city's valuable infrastructure, including water supply and delivery, wastewater, solid waste, streets, fleet, parks, and public facilities. And now we have a video showcasing our public works team.
Well, thank you. And speaking of barbecues, we would like to invite you, council, to 2 events this week that we'll be having. Wednesday is the Public Utilities Employee Appreciation Barbecue. It'll be hosted at noon at the Corporation Yard. Also on Friday, every year we do a farmers market event in which the Public Utilities Department, with the partnership with the Central Valley chapter of APWA, as well as this year of Fresno County Public Works Department, Fresno Metropolitan Flood Control District, General Services Department, and Planning Development Services Department will be there putting on a display for the public. That display is going to have a lot of large equipment and education material, and also give an opportunity for residents to engage with the staff that are working on their projects throughout their neighborhood. So we encourage everyone to come out, engage with those staff, and see what, the things that we're working on. We'd also like to recognize the employees, the public utility employees, if we can have you guys stand up that are here tonight, public utility employees, general service employees, as well as planning and development service employees. So these are the folks that are representing your city and Clovis employees who are working hard every day to make Clovis a way of life and keep Clovis remaining a destination of choice. So we'd like to thank you for recognizing them and the importance of public works in our community, Public Works Week. So with that, maybe get up here and get a picture.
Yes. Come up and get the proclamation as well. Lynn, did you want to say anything?
I wanted just to add, last year at the Mayor's Breakfast, we had a chance to showcase employees that do remarkable things. So while you do all the things in the video, I do want to know who sprays those orange letters on my curb, though. Now I know it's you all. Just kidding. But I do think you are the face of our city. You are the folks, if they need something, they don't really know whether you can or can't help them. But you also need to be recognized for going to a 3-year-old's birthday party, for changing the flat tire of somebody that had no idea really what to do, for performing the Heimlich maneuver on a resident in need a few years ago. So every day you do those things that we don't know about. We only found out about those 3 accidentally. And I know that all of you do those acts of kindness every day. That you do the things in the video, yep, but all those things are really what make you extraordinary. So I just wanted to add that. I just hear great things about folks' interaction with you, and it's that they remember. They expect their trash to be picked up, but it's that they remember. So just wanted to thank you for doing those kinds of things every single day for our residents. Thanks, Juan.
Councilmember Bessenger.
Really quickly, your video is well done. It started off with, what does Public Works do? It probably should have said, what don't you do? And a lot of it's behind the scenes. People don't see it, but it plays an important role in their lives. Thank you.
And one more thing, you had the best booth at last year's 3rd grade Come Learn About the City Day and got rave reviews on your display called Where Does Your Poop Go? So no other department can say that except you all. So you have added talents. So thank you so much.
Please come forward. Thank you. Those are 3 excellent presentations. Next, we're going to move to public comments. If you are here to speak on an item that is not on our agenda, please come to the podium there and state your name, and you may address the council for 3 minutes.
Good evening, Eric Rollins, 575 West Ashcroft. I go to a lot of government meetings, not just in this town. I've been to city council meetings in Hanford, in Kingsburg, and Parlier. I go to Board of Supervisors meetings. And while I think this meeting is generally run much better than your competition, I notice there's a general, almost kind of sense of confusion because so often you're using abbreviations that people don't know. I have to look up on a regular basis, almost every meeting, something like what's an RFD? Well, just a very brief explanation of what it was. Or last week, we had something that was BIA. So when I looked it up, that comes up as Bureau of Indian Affairs. Well, I'm 4 pages in before I can even figure out what that is. So I think it would be really helpful if just at some point you gave a little clarity to those types of things, and I think it would make it easier for the average citizen to understand what's happening, what's going on. Aside from that, generally I am proud that I'm a Clovis resident, and I thank you for this time.
We will do that. Pay attention. Thank you, Eric. Anyone else like to address the council?
Hi, my name is Kay Aradaberry. I live at 56 West El Paso here in Clovis. I want to thank you so much for this and this. This is asking me if I would support a tax increase for the parks and for the trails and general maintenance. And no, I can vote yes or no. Thank you. And then you sent out 3 pages of an explanation of why the increase was important. I appreciate that. Of course, I'm going to vote yes because I love the parks. I love the trails. I love the way you keep our city. And I saw some of the faces now that have done that. I mean, you don't realize how much the residents appreciate living in a beautiful place. One park I'm just going to talk about, and this is just a silly thing that I've been thinking about for a long time. There is a small park, they call it pocket parks, and I think the reason they justify putting in these neighborhood small parks is to take the square footage out of backyards and put it in a park down the street. And in our neighborhood, at least, no one really uses that pocket park. The park I'm talking about is right in the center between Nice, Minnewawa, Alluvial, and Peach. And it's a neighborhood park, I suppose, to give us green space, although most of the people in our neighborhood do have lawns and lots of trees and beautiful landscaping. Well, I never see anyone using it. I think there are several reasons why they don't use that park. First, long gone are the days when parents say, go down there and play in that park and come back by dark. You know, a lot of people grew up like that. No. Parents want to see where their children are. They want to supervise the children. Second reason is that if parents are going to take their child to the park, just 2 blocks away is Railroad Park. It's on the corner of Alluvial and Peach. It's a beautiful park. Along the trail, there's equipment, there's bathrooms. It's well used. Sometimes there are cars parked all up and down Alluvial and Peach. Third reason, I think, a little bit further away, is that Clovis and Alluvial is Dry Creek Park. That is just beautiful. It has a parking lot, has bathrooms. I think both of these parks have bathrooms. They have lots of play equipment, lots of beautifully maintained space. Fourth reason is 2 blocks away from this pocket park is the Buchanan Complex. It has every possible facility for sports. I mean, you can football, track, 7 baseball diamonds, it has basketball, soccer, tennis, everything you can think of. And in their wisdom, Clovis Unified said, let these facilities be open to the public. The public, the taxpayer, actually can go and use those facilities, which is wonderful. So we thank Dr. Buchanan probably for that. My point is, when planning new subdivisions, now this is in the future, take that square footage and put it in backyards instead of small parks, or put it in bigger parks where people go. I don't mean people have to have a huge backyard, but they have not 10 feet, not 15 feet, enough for children can play back there, a safe place where their mom can watch them, dad can watch them, and family barbecues. That's the Clovis way of life, families. Thank you.
Thank you, Kane.
Good evening. My name is Steven Trevino. I live on Bullard. I just want to mention one little thing. When I was growing up, right here at Clark, there used to be some basketball courts, and they took them out a few years ago. And the other day, I was walking by here, and I noticed they were taking out these buildings that you have back in the back here. And I was wondering, since it's empty during the weekends, if you could put in some basketball hoops so that kids could play in the parking lots in the back. It's not being used by anybody, you know. And anyways, the conversation this young lady was making about these pocket parks. Where I live, I wish we would have had one. I was very upset when they took out Tom's Market. I was hoping they'd put a pocket park, because we don't have any pocket parks. And some of the people where I live don't have very big yards. And I've seen people play in the alleys. I don't see that anymore. They used to put up their hoops in the alley, and they would, play in the alleys. But we need more room for children to play, and I think those little pocket parks are ideal, because especially there's one here on Music Street. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. And there's a lot of people that live in apartments, and those people don't have anywhere to play. So I mean, because we have a lot of apartments here, and people who live in apartments don't have that ability. These parks, they play a big part in that. So anyways, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. And they moved those basketball courts to the center of the back of Clark, because I used to play.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I just wanted to
You're right.
let you know that.
I talked to the principal one day, and he told me that, but you know what? I don't like going on schools.
Yeah.
I feel very uncomfortable going on school grounds as a grown adult. I don't know what it is. It's one of those things. I'm always afraid they're gonna say I'm a child molester or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino.
Josh Fulfer, 434 West Paul Avenue. I just wanted to talk about just a couple things. We had those folks with the Hot Rod Fresno here. That car show was incredible. I only scheduled an hour and a half because my son had a t-ball game, and I wish I would have scheduled more time. It was much larger, and I brought some people from outside of Clovis to come join that, and they had a wonderful time. Another thing that happened that I thought was really cool was you had a farm tour. Luke Bryant came into Harlan Ranch area, and that was something that, living in Clovis my whole life, I never thought I would experience here. Some of the hashtags that were going around after that was Clovis Cella, and I've not been to Coachella before, but I could tell you I've been to probably over 100 concerts. I've never been to a concert where it was just, everybody was so nice. It was great. You pulled out your lawn chairs. You hung out. It was a great concert. There was some dust out there, but it was a farm tour. So kudos to that. And the last thing I wanted to say, because I haven't been here in a couple meetings, but it was to Mayor Vong. I attended the Clovis Rodeo, and your daughter did a fabulous job of that national anthem, and I'm sure you were proud. So I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, I know. Okay, anyone else like to address the council? Public. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the public comments. Now we'll move to consent calendar. The items on the consent calendar are routine in nature and are recommended for approval by the City Council. These items will be considered and voted on as a single item unless a council member requests separate consideration of any item. We have items 4 through 12. Anyone on the council like to pull any of the items?
I have a conflict on number 11 for the
Okay.
property, so when we get to that, I'll make a motion for all of the items with the exception of 11, and then abstain on number 11.
Okay. Anyone else like to pull anything? Okay. Anyone here in the public like to speak on consent items 4 through 12? Okay, seeing none, bring it back to the council.
Motion to approve consent calendar items 4 through 12 with the exception of 11.
Second. That was my job. You took away my job.
Okay, we have motion, second on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I'll make a motion for item number 11.
Okay, we get a second on that one?
Second.
Okay, we have motion second on item 11. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? One abstention? Okay. Motion carries. Next is, we'll move to council items, item number 13. This is consider approval of confirmation of city manager's appointment of assistant city manager. Andrew Hausler, our city manager, is presenting on this.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Put that picture up there for everyone to see. It's my honor to recommend the appointment of Paul Armendariz to be the Assistant City Manager for the City of Clovis. Mr. Armendariz brings over 20 years of service to the City of Clovis, including 10 years with the Planning and Development Services Department and 10 years with the Public Utilities Department, where he most recently served as Deputy Director overseeing key operations, all the things we've talked about tonight, water, sewer, trash, etc. Having served as interim Assistant City Manager since February 1st of this year, and with deep roots in the community, I believe he's a Buchanan grad. He's a Clovis native as well as Fresno State. Yeah. He is well prepared to assume the permanent role. Based on his qualifications and demonstrated leadership, I am requesting the council confirm the appointment of Mr. Armendariz as Assistant City Manager. Thank you very much.
Any questions or comments from the council at this time? Go ahead.
I'm strongly in favor of this. It's great having people in our own bullpen that we can grow, and people, especially with water and utilities backgrounds, it's very, very specific knowledge. And we were fortunate to have Luke Serpa to go up and eventually become the city manager with his water background. This is a win-win for the citizens of Clovis.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Matt.
I just want to say congratulations. I know we got to vote, but I think you'll do a great job. You've been doing a great job for many years, and Clovis is lucky to have you.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Diane, I think.
Diane? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations. I think this is a fantastic addition to the administrative side of things here. And I know when Andy promoted from assistant city manager to city manager, it was the question of, well, who's going to be his number 2? And all I kept hearing is, well, he can't get Paul, but other than that, we're not. So kudos to our city manager for recruiting and acquiring the absolute best to be the number 2. So thank you for saying yes and for everything that you have and continue to do for Clovis.
I'll just say that you've dispelled the myth that engineers can only be engineers. So I'll just echo my colleagues. I think you're a terrific leader, and look forward to what you can do for the city of Clovis in the future. So I'm happy to make that motion if you want to open the public comment.
We'll open it. Okay. I just want to say, Paul, you look way younger than being here already 20 years. But this is what I think we've been wanting in Clovis, for our young people to go to school here, to go to Fresno State, and then come back and serve in our town. So that way there's some buy-in, there's some connection with deep, strong roots. And having met your 2 lovely, or 1 daughter, and then your parents at the car show this weekend as well, just excited for them. You know, your dad is a wonderful asset to the city, and so you should be proud of what he's gonna do and what he will do for all of us and what he has done so far. So happy for you guys as well. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and open the public portion. Anyone like to speak on this item?
This is the nerve-wracking part, like, oh
Yeah.
no, someone's going to stand up.
Mr. Trujillo. Okay. Okay, Sina, we're going to bring it back to the council. Go ahead, Councilman
It
Ashworth.
would be my honor to, what's the verb? Appoint. I was going to say that. I knew it wasn't annoying, but it was something like that. It would be my honor to make the motion to appoint you, Paul, as our deputy city manager.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Now we're embarrassing, but he does want to share a few words.
You may never get another standing ovation, so take it.
Okay.
If I may, can I say a
Sure,
couple
yes,
things, Mayor?
please.
I just want to say, Mayor and Council, thank you so much. Thanks for the kind words. I truly am honored to serve in this role. I have been here for a little over 20 years. As it was mentioned, I grew up here. I live here, currently play, work here, and really and truly love the city of Clovis, as we all do. I love serving the city, love serving the residents, and I hope to do that for many more years. Thank you to Andy. I know it's a big decision selecting a number 2. I appreciate the opportunity, and I thank you for that. Really quick to Scott, thanks for all the mentorship over the years. He's been a huge mentor and one of the reasons why I'm in this role, so thank you.
He hasn't quite recovered from this.
He will. He'll be fine. He's got a great staff. Last but not least, to my family, my parents, my mom and dad, Paul and Becky. Thanks for moving to Clovis 40-something years ago, putting me through Clovis Unified Schools and encouraged me to get my education. Appreciate everything you've done for my brother and I, and what you're doing now for my granddaughters. To my wife, my 2 girls, Jen, Addie, and Emily, I love you very much. Stay in school, work hard, and Daddy loves you. Thank you.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay. We'll go ahead and move now to item 14. Paul, did you want a photo? It's up to you.
Now we've really
Why
embarrassed
not?
you.
I know.
Early.
Okay. All right, we'll move to item 14. I know, that's right. Yeah. Okay, item 14 is to consider approval of the updated master development fee schedule. And staff on this is Thad Avery and Sean. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Wish mine was a little more fun, but we're back here talking about fees. Sorry. Let me go through this. So tonight, I'm asking you to consider approving a CCI adjustment. That would be a construction cost index. I'm listening. I'm going to explain what the abbreviations are. Development fees. Well, we talked about public works, so the fees are generally the impact of a project and their contribution to our infrastructure that ultimately gets maintained by our fine public works staff. We have in the code several options to consider as we look at fee updates every year. One of them is a comprehensive update. The second that we've chosen tonight is for a more simpler CCI, Construction Cost Index update. The public outreach the staff performed was through two meetings in April. This coincided with the water major facility fee update that you heard last Monday. We sent out an email to over 200 stakeholders. We were available by phone calls and individual meetings. And at that point, we talked about the water major facilities, which you already acted on, but we talked about the CCI, which by code, it tells us look at the annual increase, or adjustment, I should say, from San Francisco and LA, average those two, and for this year, it's a 0.8%, so less than 1%. The approximate change to the bottom line of a project, it depends on the use and area, but it's 0.4 to 0.5 It's small because the CZI update is small. Now, just want to clarify, it's in the staff report that this does not apply to the water major facility fee that we just approved on Monday, and it does not apply to any of the sewer categories: sewer major facility, sewer oversized, sewer front footage, etc. If council approves this tonight, the fees go into effect 60 days afterwards, and that would be Monday, July 21st. So I'm asking for your consideration to approve this tonight, and Thad and I are here for any questions you might have.
Are there any questions of staff regarding the fee schedule?
I'll just comment that these annual adjustments based on an index are so predictable and calm and thoughtful, and thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. This time, we're going to go ahead and open up the public portion. If you would like to address the council on this item, you may do so at this time. Okay, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and close the public portion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the updated master development fee schedule.
Okay, we have a motion. We get a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we will move to item 15. Thank you very much, Diana and John. This is consider review and introduction of the 2025-26 City of Clovis annual budget, 5-year capital improvement program, Measure Y, and information regarding the Clovis successor agency. And we have, are we presenting on all A through H tonight, Andy?
Yes, the departments have 3 or 4 slides apiece, just showing some highlights for you.
Okay. And so it'll be the Finance Department, City Council, City Attorney, City Manager, City Clerk, then the Police Department, Fire Department, Public Utilities Department, Planning and Development Services, Community Investment Program, General Services Department, and the last one will be the Economic Development, Housing and Communications. And staff on this is Jay Shango, our Finance Director, and Andrew Hausler, our City Manager. And because we have gone through these already, we're going to go ahead and just go through them. And council, if you have questions at any time, feel free to just jump in and ask questions of the different departments as they present. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll kick us off. So proud to present to you the 2025-26 annual budget. I really appreciate the effort that has gone into this. We have spent collectively a lot of time on this as a community, as a council, and staff with council. So just kind of where we're at. We are at the first budget hearing, official hearing. This must be adopted by June 30th. We are requesting to continue this item to June 2nd. Council can approve tonight if they so choose, but we have June 2nd set aside for a second hearing. For any further feedback and approval by City Council, we also have further meetings available if needed. I'll go on to the next slide. So some big themes relative to the budget. It maintains and enhances public safety. There are 21 direct public safety positions being added and 11 support positions for those public safety positions. Implements Measure Y, 92% of Measure Y is focused on public safety. It continues capital investments in older neighborhoods. This year we have $8 million in capital funds flowing into older neighborhoods. It invests in planning for the future. This includes conducting facility and fleet assessments to develop long-term investment plans, as well as updating our general plan and assessments of how future development is funded. And it provides for fiscal and services stability. We are in uncertain economic times. The indicators are pointing in all different directions, up, down, left, right, in circles. You just never know what's going to happen from day to day. Uncertainty is high, and our revenues are seeing an impact. But many cities are making significant cuts to balanced budgets, and we are not. Clovis is in a stable spot. And that is thanks to Measure Y. This measure passed in November of 2024. It's a 1-cent tax on sales. And there are 9 major goals that were approved by the voters. It was forecasted to produce $28 million in revenue. That has been dropped down to $26.2 million based on economic conditions. And we are touching on some of these goals tonight. You'll hear those in the departmental reports. So what does Measure Y do for us? Measure Y will grow the sales tax revenue 60%, $29 million to $55 million. That is historic for us. Measure Y allows critical services to grow and stabilize to meet community needs. Measure Y provides for the city to be in a place of stability during a volatile economic time. And this places Clovis in a unique spot relative to many communities. So how is Measure Y allocated out? This pie represents the Measure Y tax, the $26.2 million. The dark colors, let me get my notes, make sure I'm saying this in the right order. The solid slices are funds proposed to be allocated in the 25-26 budget. That's approximately $13.5 million. The hatched slice of the pie is not being allocated or authorized to expend in the current recommended budget. That's about 48%. Staff will monitor Measure Y revenues and return with budget recommendations for council to consider throughout the year. These will be for facility improvements, future fleet investments, and opportunities to enhance services focused on public safety. With all the slices in the pie that are focused on public safety, they are outlined in purple. They equal 92%. So is there some small slices there I just want to highlight? This isn't working. So usually it works if I do this, but not this time. Let me go back. So there's goal 6, addressing homelessness. Goal 10, support for city departments. Those are those things like IT and facilities. And then maintaining public safety, goal 1. Those make up the 92%. Also in here are significant positions, 35.5. We have approximately 21 positions solely focused on public safety and 11 support positions. They are staged over time. We are expecting the average hire date to be January 1. As we ramp up our hiring, it's going to take time to recruit and onboard for these positions at this scale. That also allows us to monitor our fiscal conditions, see how Measure Y is performing, as well as the overall economy and our expenditures, and we'll be focusing on public safety. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jay Shingle, our Finance Director, to go over the budget in the bigger picture.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Before we get started this evening, I just wanted to acknowledge the lift this year that was done by finance in order to get this book presented to you. Typically, there's 6 of us, 7 including myself. This year, I was down 2, so basically 5 of us put this together, 342 pages. 30 pages of new Measure Y for you, so just wanted to acknowledge the lift that was necessary every night, every weekend for months. So just wanted to acknowledge the level of effort from my team and every department to get this budget to you. If you guys wouldn't mind just waving, they're the back row, that is my team. So. And you know, I do have a few slides here, but again, it doesn't nearly acknowledge the level of detail that's in this book, and I do encourage you to read it and ask questions appropriately. For us, we're happy to try to answer and help you through it. So it is a very large document. So with that, this year's budget in total is $395 million. That's $345 million in operating expenses and $50 million in community investment projects. In the general/Measure Y fund, we have $124 million. This year, 83% of the discretionary funding is allocated to public safety. That, of course, would be higher if the purple slice of the pie was allocated and not sitting there unallocated for future allocations to public safety. And then of note, sales and property tax make up 88% of the total discretionary revenues. So that is not a small number. We are heavily dependent on taxes, but especially that sales tax. So like I mentioned, the budget is $395 million, but to look at the operational funds, we have $124 million in general fund Measure Y, $119 in your enterprise funds, your water, sewer, refuse, $96 million in your internal service funds, facilities maintenance, IT, employee benefit fund, property and liability insurance, et cetera, and then $6 million in special revenue funds, which is basically our LMD. So I just wanted to throw this up here where we're using $100 million of discretionary revenues, where those revenues are being used, those property and sales tax. Every department has a certain slice of these taxes, but city manager is administration, housing, those type of things, general services. But again, the 56 million, and I'm sorry, my pointer doesn't work either. The 56 and the 26 are police and fire. That represents 83% of the 100 million being allocated in discretionary. I've been presenting this slide for the last couple of years, just kind of showing discretionary revenues, but this year I'm showing this one without Measure Y, just to show you where we were as a city prior to Measure Y implementation. Our property taxes are growing steadily at 5%, but our sales tax is down 5%. And right now, as proposed, our sales tax isn't even at the level that we adopted this year in the budget. Between these two slides here, bringing Measure Y in completely changes the view of where the city is, and that is the stability and the hope that Andy is talking about. Bringing that much needed revenue in from the taxpayers stabilizes the city in a way that can hardly be expressed. So Andy's going to wrap up, and then if you have any questions, we'll start going into the departmental.
Yeah, just to recap, this budget maintains and enhances public safety. It fully implements Measure Y, provides fiscal and service stability in all of our funds. It does include some annualized rate increases for utilities. And the departments will be presenting for any questions with some more detail. First up is Jay Shingle.
Well, let's see here. So my budget's growing a little bit. That's basically salaries and benefits. We don't have any real other line item requests other than salaries and benefits over for next year's proposed. Those salaries and benefits are mainly attributable just the benefits going up in cost, and 3 proposed new positions, 2 accountants and 1 senior accounting systems tech. That is proposed that 1 accountant and 1/2 of accounting systems tech is funded in some meaningful way by Measure Y for the accountability goal 9, which I'll get to. I did 3 position conversions to better align my department with reality. So I downgraded an assistant finance director to a deputy. I downgraded a finance manager to accounting supervisor when those 2 were vacant. And I increased a principal account clerk to accounting systems tech related to the Spry Point utilities. So basically I had 2 very large projects this year, either done or coming up. So the Spry Point, which is our public utilities, majorly overhauled our system to the customers, and they have been really positive now that they're adjusting to it with a couple small nits that we're working on related to some of the interaction between the automated system and them. But the portal to view and pay bills, see their consumption, set up auto pay, paperless billing. We get our final bills out weekly rather than every other month. Service orders are electric. Our lead workers can assign on iPads. It's just night and day difference related to the system that we had and the system that we went to. They map route to the service address, so the workers don't have to guess where the address is. They can attach a picture at the end of a work order to prove that they did the work. It's just truly amazing as far as what it does compared to where we were anyways. And this year, of course, no rest for the weary, but we are going live with the Finance Enterprise upgrade here in August. So we're basically just going to shift off of upgrading one system and going to the next. That's just part of the technology implementation that we need to do. So Measure Y metrics for my department, goal 9, spending disclosure spent locally. Basically, we are going to submit reports to the Measure Y Oversight Committee. We're going to make sure that Measure Y funds are spent directly on approved projects. We're going to monitor the variances between the budget and actual Measure Y expenditures, and we're going to ensure Measure Y financial data is accounted for in the budget book and the annual ACFR, Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. With that, that concludes my department. Available for any questions.
Any questions? Okay, go ahead. We can move on.
Well, you're back to me. It isn't all this me and Jay, I promise. So I'll be going over administration. This is city council, city attorney, the city manager / administration, as well as city clerk. We're seeing a decrease in expenditures this coming year. We have no Measure Y money flowing into these departments. Some new programs and projects that we're achieving through reprioritizing how our funds are spent. A legislative engagement program. We'll be reviewing and working on platform development for council to engage on legislation in a more judicious and expedient way. We are working on bolstering our code enforcement efforts through this department. We are setting aside some funds for training and staff development. This includes allowing for strategy sessions, training, development, and some additional employee appreciation. And then we are modernizing our record keeping through our city clerk's office. I'm going to turn it over to Jesse Velez with IT. He'll be going over IT.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. So this is the IT budget. We have operations expenses that have gone up with new staff. We have capital outlays that are pretty flat, honestly. We did move some things around. Communications are pretty flat as well. And we always seem to have more subscriptions and the costs keep going up for that software. So that's, in a nutshell, what's going on in our division. Bless you. So some projects that we're doing, not specifically Measure Y related, but we are looking at a cybersecurity. It's called an security information management system. We're implementing some new firewalls. We're taking a deep dive into the artificial intelligence for local government, making sure that what we provide to staff to use provides some efficiencies for staff, but also provides the guardrails so that we're not sharing stuff that we shouldn't be with the AI. We're doing some upgrades to our traffic network system, and we're again, doing more cloud-based services for our entire network operation. So it's a really big shift where, our borders have now expanded further past, the city of Clovis domain and network. So it's a big undertaking that's coming up on this calendar year. Some Measure Y investments. We're looking at upgrading the uninterruptible power supply, the UPS system in our radio tower at the PD headquarters, or public safety headquarters, I should say. We're doing some upgrades in our mobile command vehicle, the police department's mobile command vehicle, doing just a network refresh and redesign of how that thing operates and make it more, more user-friendly and all that stuff. We have some audio-visual system improvements going on in the Emergency Operations Center / training room and fire department. And then we're gearing up for all the new employees that are expected with desktops, hardware, laptops, subscriptions, licensings, and those things. To help us get over the hump and provide for all of the things, these are the 4 positions that are being requested. We have an information technology technician in the police department, a specialist in public utilities. We're looking for some geography information system mapping help for both police and fire. It's a shared position, and a technology manager to help oversee a lot of the new projects and to provide some succession planning and other support. And that concludes my report.
Go ahead.
Jesse, how comfortable are you with, are we taking enough steps to make sure that we don't get ransomware or taken over like some of our other local agencies have had to deal with?
So I'm never really comfortable, to be honest, but I think with some of the improvements that we're making in our firewalls and being able to do some proactive security logging and event management, information management with that SIM that I mentioned earlier, and with the staff really starting to be aware as a city, really, that we do some training for end users, either through our online system, through Target Solutions. We're going to be introducing some other security training as well for all city staff. And then specific for IT staff, we do have people who are actually taking, security type, really in-depth training right now as well. So all in all, I think we're doing a pretty good job, and we have we send out our own spam to test users and what have you, so that make sure if you click on something, then you're going to get an additional assignment done on training and what to look for and those kinds of things. So we're trying to do as much as we can to transfer knowledge and prepare people, because I think we all are able to click on that malicious link and and we've done some improvements there as well. So I feel that we're doing what we can, and staff in whole is really stepped up a lot as well. So that's my
Have we ever had a third party come in and take a look at our systems and?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we do penetration testing. We've done at least once a year. Well, actually, no. Through our cybersecurity insurance program, it's a quarterly scan that happens, and then we do an outside penetration test every year, and then we've also had other assessments of our actual network and just our profile, our security profile altogether. And we've done okay, but there's always room for improvement, and there's never enough time to do all of the things that need to be done. Some of those reports are designed for like the DoD and some of the super large organizations, and I just don't have the type of manpower to answer that level of reporting that's required for those to be able to hit that metric, 100%.
Okay, thank you.
Lynn?
I think following along on that, Jesse, I feel like when we talked about this earlier, you had many worries. I think it's the nature of your job to worry about literally everything all the time. But you just said we're doing what we can. I think I want you to do what we need. So far, and I know you do that, but I appreciate the conservative budget. That's what I've been sort of suggesting all along. And like that there's no money in here for added security. If you need more manpower, I don't think we can afford to not do literally everything we can in this space. So I know the budget document's all done and all of that, but I would advocate or encourage you as the year goes on and you start to see the revenues, that this to me seems like sort of as important as public safety, except it's inside. And if this goes wrong, it's going to be a problem everywhere. So I would encourage the city manager, and by the way, I made a motion to have you be the deputy city manager. That's even wrong. You don't even have the job yet. I said deputy. Assistant. Anoint an assistant. I was having a hard time there. I was getting emotional. I was trying not to focus. So anyway, skip the deputy, the assistant city manager. I would encourage the administration to look at that, because I think you only get one chance to do this, and if it falls apart, it's going to cost us 10 times more to pay a ransom or upgrade the system. So I would encourage what you need here, not what you can do, because you do everything humanly possible, but you just said you don't have the manpower, and I would encourage you to take a look at this.
We do also take advantage of services that are available to us, like a 24/7 security operations center support through some of our cloud providers for security. And there's other things that are being done in the background that have really helped us to get to where we are. When we have gone out and we're in the past for the cybersecurity analyst position, we went out 3 times and just were not successful in hiring. It's just too competitive of a landscape right now. So we wanted to kind of see where that landscape was going to go and see if we can get some people trained and see where we take that as well. So it's not something that we're not going to look at.
No, I understand, but just you have, I think, all of our support to make sure you invest here in whatever fashion needs to be done to make sure we are as safe as you can possibly get us, knowing that tomorrow there's a new something coming your way.
And I'll always say it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when, not if.
100%, 100%.
Well, I wanted to echo that. I think every time I talk about IT, and I think the last time was where I actually saw it as public safety. And so sometimes I think if a department does not know how to sell or advocate, we don't understand the need as deeply. And so I would just encourage moving forward, looking at this with, not that you have no budget guidelines, but to look at it as what do we really need for us to be the most state-of-the-art, but also most secure. And I would encourage our city manager to give you that openness to just go, this is what we need. Because I think everything else, I think we can kind of plan for. These are the things we can't plan for, so we have to plan ahead. And so, and the vulnerabilities are everywhere, meaning they can attack the senior system, and then we don't know who our seniors are. They can shut our water off. They can ruin the finance. And so it's so many areas that they can attack us. And so I just want to be able to see and hear and go, you know, kind of like what Chief Fleming did. This is the end of the runway. You know, that we're here because I think we don't have the expertise to understand it enough. And I think we want to be able to see it and hear it because I think there's a support from, at least on this council, to get us as robust as possible. So I just want to say that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yes, you just got one of mine.
Yeah, I'm a strong advocate as well, so. Turn it over to Chief Fleming.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Thanks for having me here this evening. I have no photos of runways. I apologize for that. But the second slide here, well, if I can work this thing here. This demonstrates our budget growth over the last few fiscal years. But just going back 5 years, we've seen a little over a 9% increase year over year, or going back 5 years, about a 9% or so increase year over year. So I just wanted to thank the City Council for really, this is before Measure Y was even considered or passed, that really been focused on shoring up public safety and getting us in a position where we're at today. Still needing to grow, but we've grown in excess of 30 positions, 28 of those being sworn since the 2019-2020 fiscal year. So I just wanted to thank you for that. So our runway is looking much better moving forward. Tonight I have Deputy Chief Gomez, Captain Gira, and Senior Management Analyst Nicholson here with me. So if there's any questions I can't answer, they're my budget team, so I'm going to rely on them if necessary. So if I can work this thing. So for us, budget highlights within this next fiscal year. Kind of talked about this, and at the last slide, I'll kind of talk about where those 7 police officer positions are going to be allocated or deployed within the police department. We're going to add an animal control officer. That's our highest call volume, which I've talked about in the past, helping reduce calls for officers to free them up in the field. Additional records specialist to help with all the additional records, things that will be processed through there. And then 2 community service officers, which the following fiscal year we plan on adding 2 more to create that code enforcement team. So this will be the first half of that. Also position conversions, 3 the record specialist 1s will go to 2s, and we'll do some promotions to create some upward mobility within our records division. And then we have no lead positions for our CSO, and since we're going to establish that code enforcement team, we have no supervisor within our youth services division, so we want to establish a lead within that, and then having one working in patrol as a lead. So for some of the capital improvements and things that we'll need to outfit everybody would be, we've been maintaining 15 additional vehicles. It's kind of been our status quo going back to when Luke Serpa was city manager. So we've maintained that. With additional staff that will need vehicles in the field, we plan on adding 9 additional vehicles this fiscal year. And then also replacing or getting a new crime scene vehicle, which would probably be utilized by both our crime scene team and the team that responds to our fatal or serious collisions. Some of the line item increases within this budget are animal pickup and treatment, which grows every year. And at some point, we talked about maybe even bringing in a veterinarian to be on staff or contract to help reduce those costs. So we're looking at that over the next couple of years. Our body camera or Axon contract, this is just a line item increase. We just entered into a new 5-year agreement. So this will help get that line item where it needs to be for that contract. Training accounts will be increased for all the new staff coming on. And then our domestic violence program, this is just increasing our partnership with the Marjorie Mason Center. Tech upgrades, Jesse already mentioned the one IT specialist or technician position that will be allocated to the police department, but is coming out of his budget, but is funded through Measure Y. And then our drone first responder program, also referred to as DFR, but I make sure I'll spell that out and explain that program a little bit more. And I looked through my slides to make sure I didn't have it as DFR. So for facility upgrades, 2 things that were improved or approved for this fiscal year would be our dispatch break room remodel. It's going to be completed this fiscal, and then our public safety locker room. So our public safety building's about, 23, 24 years old, and all the showers, tile has been used as much as possible. So we're looking to completely redo the tile within our locker rooms, and that's what this remodel will fund. And then these are just some of the things I've discussed in the past, things that we're looking to for the future for the next 5 years. We'll have to consider also doing expansions for the additional staff coming on. So our priorities, our department goals: safest city in the valley, having a 90% or better satisfaction from our citizens, and then our response times being less than 1 minute to our 1 minute, 5 minutes to our priority 1 calls for service. That'd be amazing if we can get there in 1 minute. Sometimes we do, though. And then our culture, probably our most important thing about our department is staying who we are through this growth. I mean, in the last 5 years, we've hired a large number of employees, and over the next 5 years, we're going to hire an additional large amount of employees. So I think the most critical thing for us and our staff is bringing all these people on, and how do we continue to maintain who we are as an agency, as a city, and keep Clovis being Clovis, and that customer service being number 1. So that's probably our number 1 priority. And then in developing our employees for future succession planning, for our future leaders, and then also keeping that flywheel going with our recruitment that we've been doing a good job with. Technology innovation, probably in the next 2 months, our real-time information center should be having some type of open house and unveiling once we get the bugs worked out. I won't talk a lot about it because we don't have that much time to talk about it, but that coupled with our drone first responder, which a drone will launch from the headquarters from another location within the city and be on scene at pretty much any location within the city within a couple minutes, giving our officers real-time information as they're coming onto scene. So it's just going to be a game changer. A lot of other agencies throughout the nation have implemented some of these types of programs, but the DFR program is very new and innovative, so we're really excited about it. And then lastly, Measure Y, implementing the resources is one of our big priorities over the next 5 years, and doing that and constantly evaluating, are we putting those resources in the right place or readjusting it as we need to. And then tracking the progress through our metrics that we've established through Measure Y, for Measure Y. And these are the metrics. I know Mayor Moana too is saying, I want to see some metrics. How are we going to keep track of how our progress is going and how these funds are impacting? These are what we put down right now. They're probably going to change, and some of them we probably won't even be able to truly get a number on this first fiscal year, because like Andy had mentioned earlier, by the time we onboard these people, train them, get them into the field, and then get the other officers into these specialized positions, it's probably going to be very late in the fiscal year. But we wanted to put some kind of goals or things that we wanted to strive for. So our response times are still going to be our number 1 priority. Proactive policing is, we want those numbers to go up, so we'd like to get it where we get to that 30-30 split. So an hour of an officer's time, 30 minutes is proactive time, proactive enforcement. And then maintaining our public calls for service. I came up with this one. I don't know if it's going to work. As our city grows in population, can we maintain the calls that are coming in from our public right now, or limit how much that grows, the number of call volume coming into our department. Can we shoot for 2% or 1% growth on those calls and try to mitigate how many calls are actually coming in from the public by out there being preventative and proactive in our enforcement efforts? So we're going to set that standard. I don't know if it's truly something we can do, but we're going to shoot for that. And then goal 6 was addressing homelessness through the Measure Y. So we're going to add a 2-man team to go out and just deal with our homeless population. Some of the metrics for that are reducing calls related to quality of life. So we have a number of calls that we track as quality of life type of calls. So we're going to try to reduce those, reduce illegal camping violations, and then acceptance rates for services right now. We don't track that, but this team of these 2 officers will actually track and try to see. Right now, if I guess, they'd probably say it's 1 or 2%, really low probably. But I really don't have a good gauge on that, and this team will have that going forward in the future to see if we can increase how many people are actually taking advantage of the services that are out there. This is just a snapshot of something I presented to you during our 5-year plan. These are where the officers will be dedicated to this in this first year, and our professional staff. Officers want to go to youth services, which I don't think we've had in 18 years, probably had somebody dedicated to youth services. We'll have an officer back there. 1 to investigations, 1 to our special enforcement team or SET team, 1 to traffic. And then that homeless liaison team will be set up this next fiscal year, and then trying to get 1 body back into our FORT team, which is our fentanyl overdose response team, which is partnered with the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency. I'm doing pretty good with the acronyms, huh? And then the other 3 are self-explanatory, or 4 where they're going. And it looks like the slide got messed up on the right. It was amazing too. Corey did a great job. That addressing community concerns was like in this cursive. I don't know what happened, but the community concerns there listed are what the citizens identified that were public safety related during the Measure Y. So those will be in our forefront, things that we're looking at to keep reevaluating to make sure we're putting our resources in the right positions. And that's going to conclude my portion.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Just a quick question. I think it's the first year in a while I've not heard the words mental health.
It's funny because our Officer of the Year this year, Molly Jacobson, her position is solely dedicated to mental health, and I think we talked about last time. So after, I think, these first couple of years, we might add a second person to her position because we found so much value in it. I think this first year, some of these other positions are probably more important. But she's doing a tremendous job, and our officers actually recognize how well she's doing, and actually believe we should probably put a second person in that position.
Do we still have the county, a behavioral health clinician from the county?
We have 2.
We have 2 plus our own officer?
Correct.
And then this isn't in the weeds question, your Marjorie Mason Center partnership, does that include work with Clovis Unified on the issues of teen domestic violence?
It's funny you say that. I have a plan to set up a meeting with the superintendent to try to grow that partnership. We had that in place, or the Marjorie Mason Center did it several years back. That kind of fell off. They're in every school within Fresno Unified, so I'm going to reach out to the superintendent, see if we can bring that to Clovis Unified, at least in our city in Clovis, and try to grow that relationship.
Thanks.
Chief, I just wanted to thank you for looking out for the professional staff, because I think some of us don't know who is where. And in your list, the sworn was 7 and the professional staff 4. So that's really looking out for the support staff of our sworn officers, because many of us just think of the people on the streets or in the different units. And I really, I saw that you did that. You did some position changes or renaming them, it's short term for them. So I appreciate that. Thank you for looking out for them. And then with regards to the metrics, I think this will come probably in your police report, in that, hey, we have, this community has allowed us to get you to 127 officers. This is what we've done. these units, look what we've done, these many cases. So that way the community is not just seeing, we have a lot of bodies now. No, these bodies are actually doing things that we were not able to do. And so I know that's gonna come in your report, what we get yearly, and I think that's what's important, at least to me, to show to the public that Measure Y, we fund 92% for public safety. This is what it's done. Yes, we've allocated some for potential facilities and cars and all that, but look at the different units that in your initial report, you're saying, hey, we might not be able to do this, do that, do that, do that, and then to come back and go, look, because of you, citizens, we have the youth program back, and now we're in the schools, or whatever it is. And I think that will be very important for the community to hear in your report as with regards to measurements. So thank you for looking ahead on that.
Just one other comment. In the hospital analogy world, another metric for homeless might be how often they return. So you had measured whether they accept services, but another tangible metric may be that they didn't return to Clovis, or they didn't return the next day, or something like that. I just think about the analogies in my day job, but that's a metric on people going to the ER, for example. If you went today and then I went tomorrow, something didn't happen between today and tomorrow, right? So that might be another opportunity for a metric for helping homeless folks get services where they have a chance to, recover and be productive members of society. Just a thought on that.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Next. Thank you, Chief.
And Chief Eck. Then Council, while he's coming up, there is a Measure Y section in the budget book. There's a yellow tab up there for you, page 191. That includes proposed metrics. As the chief is saying, we'll see how they go this first year and adjust to make sure we're measuring true progress.
And I assume that the Measure Y money is in the first part of the budget book in the overall.
Correct.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council, for this opportunity to present the fire department budget. It's been an exciting time for the fire department over the last 10 days, and I want to extend my gratitude to the council for being there for us during those times. We had our badge pinning ceremony for 3 new firefighters and 4 promotees, and then our ribbon cutting at Station 2 this last weekend. Having you all there was very special. I appreciate your support and making public safety a priority as we thrive to be the safest city in the valley. I've also given you a copy of our 2024 annual report for some leisure reading if you have time this week sometime, I'm sure. And with me here tonight is my amazing command team that I would not be up here without them. Deputy Chief Jim D'Amico, Deputy Chief Jason Rawls, Life Safety Manager Chad Fitzgerald, and our Senior Management Analyst Katie Cron, who is our budget mastermind. So I appreciate all the work that they put into this for us. We're proposing our budget for this year is $28.6 million. This can be found on page number 151 of the budget manual approved by Finance. These are the majority of the increases is for the additional staffing from Measure Y, and then we have some slight increases over the other divisions throughout our department. Our budget highlights our most important asset, of course, is our people and our firefighters. So we'll be adding 9 positions to our operations division, and they will have a direct impact. They will be used to staff an additional engine company that we're going to house at Station 1 and meet the #1 goal of Measure Y to enhance fire department response times and maintain public safety. We're also going to add part-time half GIS specialist, or we're just splitting with PD, and that's going to help us with our mapping, our data collection. As we continue to grow and things get more complex, we're going to need that expertise. And then we do have 1 position conversion in our prevention bureau, and that's going to be to convert our position to a deputy fire marshal position, and that's part of our succession planning as we prepare for future retirements and bringing people up in our organization to take over when people retire. For fleet, we're going to have some vehicle replacements that will come out of the fleet replacement fund, and that's going to be 2 staff vehicles replacements that have met their lifespan to be replaced. and we're going to be ordering a replacement for our reserve truck. We'll be ordering now, but payment and we'll be paying upon delivery in 2030. Yes, you heard that right. That's how long it takes to build a truck. So it'll be at its 20-year lifespan and ready for replacement. So that's one of the challenges that we're faced with apparatus purchasing and ordering. And from the Measure Y funding, we'll be ordering a new engine, which will be Engine 41, and payment and delivery will be in 2029. And we'll be ordering one squad with the payment and delivery in 2027. And these will be coming from that future Measure Y allocation that was in the graph that Andy went over. And then we do have some line item increases for communication equipment, upgrade to our USAR team equipment, implementation or research for the possibility of advanced life support. And then we do have some upgrades to our training center, our new training building at the training center with 2 new classrooms and offices that need equipment, and the EOC upgrades that Jesse and Chief Fleming talked about, and then some improved employee and wellness testing as well. On the facility side, we're looking at 2 CIPs, Fire Station 3, gym is the only station that doesn't have a dedicated gym, so we have equipment that's in a small room, some in the bay. We even had a treadmill in the living room area, so this will be long awaited. We've been working on this actually for, it's going on 2 years now. Now we finally got the funding to take this project across the line. And then we're going to be doing a reseal project for the fire station number 1 roof, and that's preventative maintenance that was recommended by our facilities maintenance. And then we have just some minor remodeling of stations 1, 5, and 3, just because of the use and the age of the station. And then we have our yearly replacements for refrigerators, mattresses, recliners, and everything like that, just for the living quarters of the stations. And then for our metrics, we'll be concentrating on goal number 1, maintaining public safety and effective 911 emergency response. And what is Measure Y going to do for us? It's going to allow us to staff a new engine company at Station 1, and we'll have that in service by April 2026 at Fire Station number 1. And the reason why it'll be in April is because if we're funding in January, it takes 3 months for us to hire them, to take them through the academy, to give them the training that they need before we put them in and put them on the floor and count them as staffing. And then the metrics that we will be using is what will this engine do? It's going to reduce our response times to all calls for service within our districts, and our goal is 6.5 minutes. And then another important metric that we use is our effective response force. And again, that's so for a structure fire call, house fire, we dispatch 4 engines and a truck. So our goal is to get all 5 of those units on scene within 10 minutes. So this engine is going to have a direct impact on all calls, EMS, all fires, and all structure fire calls, so we can obtain our goals. And that's it. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions or comments for Chief?
Station 7.
Station 7, yeah, it's in the future. We're planning on it. We're already looking at, we've been working with our PDS, and we're looking at land and going through with that process. So we're still shooting for the end of the decade is our goal, and that's. Well, it takes.
I'm gonna keep
took
at-
us
I'm gonna
4
keep pushing.
years,
I know, I
or
know,
3 to
I
4
know.
years almost to build Station 2. So it's a long process.
Takes you 2030 to get a darn fire truck.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
it's
just
we
really
are
important,
we
I
already
think.
we are working on it.
All right.
It's in the works.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Chief.
And Scott Riddels with Public Utilities.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. First of all, I'd like to say a very much warm-hearted thank you for proclaiming this week as National Public Works Week. Our week now revolves around this, and it's amazing to see all of the staff and how excited they are in public utilities and the corporation yard and stuff. So would love to have you out Wednesday for the best barbecue. It is. And just to celebrate with us on the accomplishment all those guys do out there. And of course, we had two wonderful presenters for that action, the proclamation, and they're with me tonight. They're assistant directors, Nick Torstensen and Glenn Istis. Okay, for the Public Utilities Department, this is, you can find this in number format at page 167 in the budget comparison. Generally, I try to put this in a bar chart to give you an idea. It's a large budget. There are increases. There's increases for water supply, increase for staff, increase for fleet. There is an increase for a solid waste item. So there are things that are being captured in next year's budget and by the category. And I'll break it down into the next slide, which kind of gives you what the budget is, $127 million budget, gives you how it's funded, and then the breakup for each of those components. And I don't know if you'd want me to go through those individually, but it's a big budget, a lot of moving parts, and you can see that with like Measure Y coming in, our fleet, well, you can't see here, but our fleet is grown quite a bit because we've put in the potential expenditures for additional fleet for public safety and others throughout the yard. Again, water has a lot of expectations, placeholders. We also, you'll see later in the presentation that we are requesting a Vector or a Camel. It's one of those blue trucks you saw in the neat little video that we showed. We use that to uncover pipes, transmission, distribution mains, and to clean out. You can use it for water and sewer, of course. And then hopefully in parks, we have the additional Measure Y funds, and we're able to put those to a good use. And wastewater, of course, is a very large budget. It also pays for the regional water treatment plant that we co-own with Fresno, supposedly. And we always have to put money in there for the treatment of our effluent. So for public utilities this next year, we are requesting a total of 10 positions. In the Measure Y positions, we are requesting 2 parks maintenance workers, 2 street maintenance workers, 1 street lighting and traffic signal maintenance worker. And as Jesse pointed out in the IT budget, half information technology specialists with Measure Y, and you can see across on the other side, the other half of that is being paid for out of enterprise funds. So that would be spread across all of our sections, basically. The new Measure Y fleet, things that we're looking for specifically for public utilities is the additional tree truck, because the parks workers we're bringing in, we want to focus on trees this year and in future years. We are also requesting 3 utility trucks for the other workers to complement them. And in this, we have a dedicated $300,000 investment for capital type maintenance projects in addition to our own staffing. So at these parks where we need to actually start dealing with some of the rundown conditions, we have about 10 projects already selected that would encompass that 300,000, and that money would be used specifically to start bringing up those. They would be done through either self-served resources, contract resources, or some other method to get those projects done. On the enterprise side, we're looking to continue our advanced metering infrastructure deployment. That's the one that's going to link up with Spry Point that Jay brought on the utility billing. So yeah, all the financial utility billing side is coming along quite great. but our ability to link up with that and give you instantaneous or semi-instant data on usage, that's going to come with the advanced metering infrastructure. And we hope to, we're in the process. We hope to get our next tower, or our first tower, in this coming year and start the test deployments. It's still going to take 3 or 4 years to go through every meter, change it out to an AMI interface, put all the towers in, hook it up with SpryPoint, and get everything working. We debate whether to bring it on all at once or to bring on quadrants. And so we're still going through that process to see that. At that point in time, if you're used to your PG&E metering, it's going to work like that. You just go online and you'll be able to get in there. You'll be able to see if you got a water problem or how much you're using. So it's going to be really, really useful for not only the city, but all the customers. We, in our operations for solid waste, we're requesting a solid waste supervisor. We have one on the administration side. We're looking for one on the operations side. The department is growing, has a very large amount of staff, and would be very, very needed in that department. And then, of course, wastewater maintenance workers, which is above that. That is just continuing as the city continues to grow, and we need more resources to continue maintaining the city. And as I said before, we're requesting a Vector Camel truck for the water section. They currently borrow the wastewater, and they borrow at a too often frequent timing. And so it's about time that they got their own, and it will be heavily used.
Scott, just before you go on, if you go back, oops, wrong way. Oh dear, I'm done.
Can somebody take
Thanks,
me
Renee.
back? I'll try.
Renee's done too.
There we go.
Sorry, $300,000 investment in general fund parks and trails. Is that maintenance of general fund parks and trails? Is that
So
what
it's a
investment means?
combination, mostly though, it's an actual, it'll be a physical investment. So if there's a tree irrigation system, like
So
along the Old
upgrades and
Town Trail.
maintenance and
Yes,
things
yes.
have died and, okay.
Yes, because we're going to be bringing in staff, and that's just to try to maintain what we have.
Got it.
But we don't have necessarily the resources or the wherewithal to divert them to do these types of projects. So those things, there'll be small projects. They may be a lead retrofit on the bowlers. They may be something where the improvements are needed to get in, and it'll be used. And that's an easy metric to capture. Hey, this is what we budgeted. This is the projects, and you'll see that this is what we did. But it is absolutely for those types of things.
Well, and I think as residents, it's the small things, right? Most people don't have huge, like, could you make, Armstrong 6 lanes? It's really just, could you replace the trash can that used to be in our park, or whatever it is. So I think I just wanted to be clear, that's what that was. Thank you.
Yes. I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to go forward here. Okay, so the Measure Y investment, or what the others have called metrics, our metrics are spelled out in the Measure Y portion of the budget, and we kind of are doing it by, hey, this is how many more trees we're going to prune, this is how much more replanting we're going to get. Or when we talk about potholes, we don't want to identify, well, we have planned to get 150 potholes. We do that by the material we're going to put down, because there's so many potholes. And what classifies as a pothole or a crack or whatever. So we're going to do it by material. So we will have actual metrics specified to make sure that we are meeting the commitments of the Measure Y funding. But we have 2 goals in the Measure Y. First goal is goal 2, keeping Clovis safe and clean, and that's our parks area. And what we'll get from that is increased structural pruning of trees, additional tree removal and replanting, targeted capital improvements to general fund parks and trails. That's the $300,000 I was talking about, and increased maintenance in general fund parks and trails. So our intent with the first 2 parks workers we're bringing on is to staff a tree truck. Right now, we have 1 tree truck and 1 tree crew, and they're addressing problems, issues, like the windstorm that just came through, right? They're on call 24/7. chopping up the trees, getting them out of the roadways and whatnot. But what we really want to do is take a proactive approach to our government facilities, our general fund parks and trails, and actually identify areas where they're going to go through and replace some of those golden redwoods or some of these trees that don't look too healthy, and we can, start anew. At the same time, those will probably be in conjunction with the capital, the small mini projects, so that there's no good replacing a tree if you don't get the irrigation working. And like the Old Town Trail especially, that irrigation is old and it doesn't work. It doesn't work well. And so we're always out there trying to fix it. So these things are going to be very much welcomed. And goal 5 is repairing streets and roads. And again, that's a pretty straightforward one. We know nobody likes potholes. And so in the wintertime, when we get most of the potholes because of the rainy season, we'll have additional increased staff out there. I was going to say, even on the parks, when the folks aren't doing the main purpose, they'll be doing other purposes that are going to help with just the overall general fund aesthetics. We're going to be able to do additional crack sealing, which is important. The biggest thing that makes streets fail is water intrusion. And so crack sealing is extremely important just to keep that water off. That's why when we do these cape seals and we put that rubberized surface over that, it extends the street's life 10 to 15 years because it's keeping water from getting down in between the cracks, which then causes base failure because of the compaction. We're going to be able to increase the maintenance of streetlights. That is something that will ultimately provide a lot of value to the city when we change the PG&E rate, because we take on those streetlights ourselves. And that will also work in conjunction with something we hope to bring on later this year, which is the community facility, the maintenance community facilities districts, so that there's a funding source for the future streetlights and there's a funding source for the current streetlights, so we can really maintain the system we have. And then again, when they're not doing the specific things in the metrics, we have other metrics where we're going to get additional preventative maintenance to street and sidewalks. It may be that they're going to do additional grinding on sidewalks and those types of things. We'll be able to capture that in a metric. We may not have those specifically listed, but we'll be able to get that information out saying, this is what you're getting for the money you invested in for us in Measure Y. And then we are requesting all the public utility enterprise rates to increase at the amount that they've been kind of charged for, that's been as a placeholder, the escalator, I guess you would call it. And we're looking for a 3% in sewer, a 4% across the board in the solid waste areas, and then a 3% in water. And so the total additional cost over a 2-month period on an average water bill use, I have to say that, of 25,000 gallons is additional $6.42, so $3.21 a month for the increases. And they would be effective July 1st, 2025, if council approves it.
Just a quick question. This may come across sarcastic, sorry, but we're already having a 4% increase on recycling and organic?
So no, that's not, we do a 4% every year. And again, in the forecast, our recycling and organics has been increasing every year since I've been here, because our costs were more than what the revenue is. We finally got to a point where we're bringing in a good amount of revenue for the expenditure. And now with the new contract, even though it's not as high as it could have been, we have to play catch up again. So it's an escalator, it's a 4% increase, but it is not a Prop 218 to go out and increase rates at a much more higher level.
All right, thanks.
And I am ready, I have any for questions?
Any questions? Hey, Scott, I like good entry points. We did a good job on Shaw. What does that fall? Is that under Renee's shop, under your shop? Or is it just under a PBIA?
The Shaw right off of the freeway there?
Yeah.
Where we put
So-
those. So that was.
'Cause I'm thinking like, Clovis Avenue when it comes in, where we already know it's set. So we're not talking about places where it can still develop, but, Herndon when it comes into Clovis, Ashland as it comes into Clovis, eastward.
So that kind of worked with the businesses. It's not the
businesses do it.
PBIA, but it was the business corridor along Shaw. They got together.
Okay.
Dwight made a vision, of course.
Yeah.
He's not here. Drew a really pretty picture, and we were looking at those things. And so at that point in time, then Public Utilities manages the LMD, that's Zone 3. So we actually did the project. We did it with our own city resources, and we contracted out where we needed to put in that, which used to be the Avenue, but I think they've taken those signs down. But yes, those are beautification projects where we can identify those, and the funding, we could continue to do those types of things. And we would work with PDS. They're the ones with the pretty pictures.
So how does it get initiated is sort of my question, where at least some rendering gets on paper.
Andy may have some more background to that, because it was brought about for when they were trying to go after putting in another, not the PBIA, but they were going to call it something else.
Business Improvement District.
Yeah.
So there is a project in the CIP, I believe it's for next fiscal year, or maybe it's current, Renee could comment on it further, for a sign entry program where PDS staff would come up with a master plan, the ideas, and then we would rally around those things as a team, as Scott's referring to get them funded and then put in.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
I'd toss in those park signs in that discussion. Thanks. We call it the Trevino sign program. He's not here either, but why is Letterman Park called Letterman Park?
And Renee Mathis with Planning and Development Services.
Okay, good evening again, Mayor and members of the council. Tonight, I have the pleasure of presenting the Planning and Development Services Department Operations and Maintenance Budget, as well as our Community Investment Program, also known as CIP. I too want to take just a quick second and recognize the staff that worked on preparing this budget, not only for tonight, but work on our budget all year long. Ryan Nelson was very instrumental in our budget, as well as my division heads, George Gonzalez, Thad Avery, and Jesse Newton. The Community Investment Program, Fernando Copetti, he puts that program together. He worked with all the departments. It is a full-time job. So with that, I'll jump right into PDS's operations budget. So PDS, Planning and Development Services, we are an enterprise fund, meaning we charge fees for the services we provide. That is predominant within our department. In 25-26, our proposed budget is roughly $18 million. That's approximately $3.5 million more than our 24-25 estimate to close. The increases are related to salaries, benefits, new positions, and consultant charges. The main consultant charges are general plan update. In addition to being an enterprise fund, PDS also receives approximately $350,000 in general fund. That is to go for services that we do not collect a fee for. That is predominantly our traffic surveys, traffic reports, traffic accidents, code enforcement, public records requests, and front counter services. So our staffing modifications proposed in 25-26 includes the following. We're looking at downgrading a senior planner to an assistant planner. This is a result of looking at our managerial needs, the forecast of our future projects, and succession planning within the division. We also have 2 new enterprise-funded positions. That's an engineering inspector and a project administrator. That is to maintain a high level of service based on the projects that we have coming in. And then we have 2 Measure Y funded positions allocated for next year, an engineering tech and a staff analyst. Our Measure Y positions relate to Goal 5, that's repairing streets and roads. The engineering technician, again, will be responsible for conducting and completing traffic-related tasks on schedule. Again, that's going to be your traffic surveys, traffic reports, accident reports. The target will be 95% of the time. The second position is a staff analyst, and that is focused on maintaining the Clovis way of life. This position will be looking at soliciting, applying for, and administering grant funds related to street and road improvements, and the metric is 85%. So I say 85 and 95. Predominantly, they're going to spend a lot of time, if not all of their time, on these tasks. However, they could also be helping assist within the department on other engineering related services. So some of the noteworthy projects programmed in 25-26. For building, that includes our code update. That update happens every 3 years. The code update will be in January of 25. Building is also plan checking many projects, but I think 2 of the larger projects would be the luxury auto complex, also referred to as the Golden Triangle. That's located south of Herndon, west of Clovis Avenue. We also have 2 hotel projects in the plan check review, both north and south of Herndon. For planning, we've got our general plan update. That's a 3-year project. We're in the first year of that. You've seen us out at events. We're trying to solicit for our GPAC right now, and we've got our visioning sessions. We're also hoping by the end of this calendar year, we have our mixed income zoning ordinance complete in our infill rezone. In engineering, we are going to be launching an RFP to update our development impact fee program. We'll also be looking at increasing our digital processing of submittals and reviews, and continuing to work on the infrastructure timing for future growth in Heritage Grove. So now shifting over to the Community Investment Program, also referred to as CIP. This program is administered, as I said when I started, by the engineering division. They work very closely with all of the departments to put this program together, and with the assistance of our city administration. The CIP is a large component of our budget. As you can see here, it's over $50 million. For next year, it includes 52 different proposed projects that range from government facilities, all the accounts listed there on the left, down to housing and community development. At the bottom, the revenue sources that will fund those projects include Measure Y. We've got rollovers from in our fund balance, revenues from other agencies, which include a lot of our grants in Measure C, development capital fees, and enterprise funds. Some of the noteworthy projects programmed in 25-26, and again, we've got over 50, but we listed just a few here. We have some street reconstruction projects, Ashland Winery to Peach, Barstow Willow to Villa, street maintenance projects, Teague Willow to Peach. We have our annual Cape and Slurry Seal, approximately 20 miles. This will be throughout the city based on need. Street widening, our second phase of Shaw Avenue, DeWolf to Leonard, Herndon, Temperance to DeWolf, a traffic signal, hopefully at Armstrong and Knees, our water feature park at Agua Dulce and Barstow in Loma Vista, Well 35, and then also the design of the Clovis Alternate Dispatch Center at Loma Vista. I do want to take just a quick second and note that in addition to what we have programmed for next year, there's a lot of major projects that we did complete this year. For example, Fire Station 2, we had the ribbon cutting on Saturday. That was a great project to see come to closure. We also completed the design, the annex for the senior center. That project is slated for construction this next year in 25-26. At our last council meeting, we awarded the contract for the Peg Boss Plaza. I know that was a highlight at the mayor's breakfast, so we are working with that selected contractor to get the contract executed, the pre-construction meeting, and the work started just as soon as we possibly can. And then I started the presentation tonight with the Loma Vista Village Green. That project also was completed. We had the grand opening in July, and while I focused on the vision, I didn't mention, I think, the most important thing. And vision's important, but it was really the staff that maintained that vision and made sure that that vision was in the final design and it was constructed. So a lot of, Mayor Ashbeck, like you said, the napkin drawing and the work that Terry did, it was really the team that made that come to life. And I want to recognize a few staff members. Lily was incredible throughout the entire design of that project and through construction. Thad Avery and his team, be it Travis, Jose Sandoval, who is not with us anymore, he went to PG&E, was incredible in making sure that that project really met the vision and our building division. So really kudos to the PDS team. All right, and to round this off, so Measure Y in 25-26, we have 4 Measure Y projects. You heard the chiefs mention this in their presentation. We have approximately $522,000 programmed for the following 4 projects. These projects will be designed and constructed next year. First one is the resealing of the Fire Station 1 roof. That's what you see in the picture there. A detached gym at Fire Station 3, a remodel of the locker rooms at the police and fire department, and then a roof replacement at the restrooms at the Gettysburg Park. So with that, that completes my presentation. I'm available for questions.
Go ahead, Drew.
I think that we should rename the luxury auto thing to, since they're all German, we should call it Far West Germany. That's all I have.
I'll take, okay.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Just a quick question. The law school is no longer using our former senior center. It has a sign on it that says Clovis Community Center. Is that a thing? And if it's a thing, does it need, I mean, I don't know what state it's in, but could it be a thing? And does it need any investment in government facilities? I just didn't see it on the list up there. But is there an opportunity there for a youth center or I don't know, upgraded community center? Because it's such a great location. So just a question on that.
Yeah, so we are conducting a facility assessment of all of our facilities right now to understand what those facilities need. We'll be bringing back a plan to council probably in the fall once that's completed. And we can talk about what the use case is for different buildings and determine a master plan that we can start implementing improvements.
Should give the youth commission the assignment to go take a look at that building.
Dream
I mean, it may not even be where they want to go, since none of them had ever seen the other one at Clovis and Ashland. Maybe this is too far south, whatever that means. But anyway, it might be fun, but it's a great building. I just didn't see it on the list of government facilities, so just a comment.
We may be coming back with a budget amendment for any kind of investments.
Yeah, thanks.
Mayor, if I may add, so there was a comment made about wayfinding and signage. Fernando and Thad, we are looking at an overall program for that for the city. So we are looking for funding and including that in our community investment program. So I know you mentioned that, and we have talked about it at the staff level, and we'll continue to work and implement that.
Okay. And also entry, right? Entry features. Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to be clear. You got what you were asking for, because I sort of, when you presented during the individual departments, I said, since you are enterprise, you can just go raise it, but you are taken care of, right?
We are taken care of. Thank you. Enterprise, as I indicated, we do charge services for a lot of the fees that we provide. However, there is a very large component of the PDS budget that doesn't have a fee associated with it. So the general fund support is quite helpful. It's not enough, but it does help us in providing services in those areas. The Measure Y positions will definitely help. Those are going to be positions that are focused on the road repair. So very much the services that we need in PDS, that PD needs, and the customer requests that come in for traffic-related responses. And then I think it's important, the staff analyst, we're unsure of what will happen with Measure C, and us staying on the forefront of trying to seek out funding to maintain that level of service is really important.
And you listed those projects, and I think Chief listed it in their reports to both chiefs. Is it falling under your budget?
Yes, those.
Even though it's the fire and then the others? Okay. I just
Yeah,
wanna-
so the Community Investment Program will take the lead on the design and construction. They've listed it in their budgets because they're specific to their operations.
Okay. And like you said, you know, you're doing the general plan update, and I look at all those, you listed three big items, where you probably can't charge anyone for those, what the staff will be working on for those items. And so it justifies your request from the general fund and from Measure Y. So, yeah, thank you.
We could always use more.
Okay. No other question.
All right. Amy Hance with General Services.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'll be presenting the General Services Budget Overview. The General Services Management Team is here with me tonight. They're in the very back at the top row. And I, like all the rest of the department heads, would like to take this opportunity to recognize Lori Shively, Bethany Berube, and Stephen Frankian for their continued work to provide exceptional services to our internal and external customers. They've also been phenomenal in supporting me during my transition, and I really appreciate them. They are here as technical experts, so if you ask me something I don't know the answer to, I'll be looking back over my shoulder. All right. So just a refresher, General Services is, I call it a potpourri of city operations. We oversee personnel risk management, facilities, and community services. First up is our personnel and risk management budget. We have increases in each of our three budget line for this division. For personnel administration, we have an increase to reflect one additional position and anticipated increases in benefit costs and for our larger staff and a higher cost of professional services. For our employee benefits, we have a 15% increase, which includes an estimated increase of 7% of cost of employees' health benefits. And this number is quite large because we're anticipating the addition of 50 new people coming on board. So this captures that cost. And then our liability and property insurance line, this is a 28% increase in cost of liability and property insurance. Not only do we have additional city facilities, but the cost of insurance is just going up nationwide, and we are certainly feeling that here in the city of Clovis. Our staff continually monitors for, other options. They just look and look and look. Lori is continually scanning the environment to see if there's a better way for us to structure our liability insurance. And for budget highlights for this division, I already went over the line item increases for employee benefits, employee health insurance, and property and liability insurance. And our priorities are getting ready to add 50 new employees. This includes the 35.5 employees that will be coming on board for Measure Y. We have an additional 15 or 14.5 employees that will be coming on as new positions, expanded services for the cities, and some departments are doing reorganizations. And we are continually monitoring compliance and regulations in this field. We're going to take a slight pause here. And I need to do some reporting that's mandated by the state of California. This is a new reporting process that you'll be seeing every year this time at budget time. This is AB 2561 reporting. This new bill went into effect January 1st of this year, and it requires municipalities to talk about the number of jobs they have available, how many candidates we interviewed, number of eligible lists created, and how many conditional job offers we made. It also requires us to talk about our recruitment efforts. I'm not going to go through these lists, but you can see we do pretty vigorous outreach. Like I said, this will be a slide you'll be seeing every year at this time. Thank you to our state of California. All right. Next up is our Facilities and Maintenance Purchasing Division. This division is broken into two sections, our facilities maintenance. You'll see a small increase there. It's an 11% increase, and it's due to 3 new team members coming on board. We're very excited about that. And the increase in cost of materials and supplies. And we also have a pretty unknown energy cost. We are budgeting for an escalation in PG&E cost. They're telling us that our rates might be going down, but we have some trust issues with PG&E, so we are building in some adequate funding to power up our city. Budget highlights for this division, of course, energy costs, repairs and maintenance, and office supplies are all going up. And priorities for this group, and those are some of the guys that do very, very good work around our city. We'll be hiring 3 new positions. We are really looking forward to getting started on the completion of deferred maintenance and looking forward to hearing from our consultant on our facility maintenance assessment. That's going to give us the runway to really understand what we'll be doing for the next 6 months, 2 years, and 10 years down the road. And also we have a long list of internal projects, not only in the police department and fire department, but all around the city. All right, and next up is our Community Services Division. I broke these out this year. Typically, they present all together with Senior Services, Recreation, and Transit. But because Senior Services and Recreation are both general funded, we'll be talking about them separately. Transit is considered an enterprise fund. Even though folks don't pay in directly to it, it's still considered enterprise. So for our Senior Center, you'll see costs are going up. We've hired some new staff, and we are just busting at the seams, running programs almost 24/7. I started trying to get programming at the Senior Center 7 days a week before I left, but I have to tell you, Bethany has taken the mantle and run with it. She is doing some pretty amazing programming over there. And then on our recreation department, you'll see a fairly status quo budget. They did have an escalation from 23 to 24, and that was due to some projects that went on in the senior center. They improved the center itself with new scoreboards, new basketball hoops. They didn't upgrade the air conditioning, but we replaced some of the swamp coolers and just tried to spruce up the building because we have so many visitors there. And there we go. I was really looking for a place to highlight our Zumba ladies, so I'm glad I'm able to do that tonight. Priorities for Senior Center and Recreation is managing incredibly high demand, ensuring program excellence, and preserving affordability. Our programs, especially at the Recreation Center, give families who may not be able to do some of the more expensive activities with their children, like traveling teams and things like that, gives them high quality programming and exercise and recreation for those families. And we're really proud of that. And then here's Transit sitting all by itself, hanging out. It does look kind of lonely up there. We have a $3 million increase in our proposed budget for next year. This is anticipation of our new routes that are getting ready to come out at the end of this year, beginning of next year, and also increased cost in labor and just maintenance of our vehicles. And speaking of our new routes, there they are. We're really excited for this project. Our line item increases include we're hiring some additional employees, we have escalating costs, and of course we have our new route project. We're always working on our zero emission conversion project, and then always a shifting regulatory landscape for public transit. So for general services, we too are benefiting from Measure Y and are incredibly thankful that we'll be able to bring on 3 assistant building technicians, a personnel technician, 1 principal office assistant, a rec specialist, a rec coordinator. We're also going to be able to buy 3 utility trucks and all the tools that our new building technicians will need. And then other funds, we'll be adding 2 management analysts. This will be in the transit division. These will actually be compliance officers for our new FTA funding. That's a requirement that we have those positions. We're adding 1 additional full-time transit dispatcher. And then, of course, we're always replacing our transit fleet in accordance to our zero emission conversion plan. And that is it for general services, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Can you just summarize the additional staff in the senior center? I think we've talked about that every time you were here over the last few months. So can you just comment publicly on that?
Sure. So the senior center added a senior center supervisor. That happened directly after the passage of Measure Y. It's not in Measure Y, but I like to think of it as because Measure Y passed, we were able to bring that person on. That is a position we haven't had since 2007, and it's incredibly critical to have another layer of managerial oversight at the senior center. We are up to about 650 to 700 people in that building a day. I think that's correct. I'm going to look over my shoulder. Yep. So it's just the oversight needs another layer of supervision. And we're also adding a recreation coordinator to that position. So we will have 2 people in the building who specialize in recreation. And just with the amount of programming and the oversight that we need, and we just really need to monitor everybody, it takes a lot of eyes.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Hey, Amy, your department oversees all the solar, correct?
Yes.
And maintenance and how much we save and all that?
Yes.
And what we voted to oppose last week with regards to sort of changing, would that affect public facilities too, or only residential homeowners where there would be no credit and where it would just be a zero out? Would that affect us?
I think that's a really good question.
So
Mayor.
I asked the same question, and Stephen can confirm with me, but it appears that it could impact.
It could impact
the
us.
rate structures that we
Yeah.
bought into. But
Well,
we'll see what the legislation does.
That's what I think we're waiting for.
Yeah.
The language we weren't able, I read it to try and understand it, and I really couldn't get a good bead on who it's going to impact, so we're monitoring it.
Okay.
We partner with a really good vendor who helps us with all of our energy management systems, and we're always on the lookout on trying to figure out ways to have a more efficient facility plan. But it's a challenge, especially
Yeah.
with aging facilities.
And if that passes, can you sort of forewarn us or predict, this is what we're going to have an increase in costs because we're losing these benefits that we bought into? So that way we can kind of be
That would be
aware.
could be a significant
Yeah.
adjustment.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Amy.
All right, next up is Economic Development, Housing and Communications. Chad McCollum is not here. He is in Las Vegas at a trade show pursuing retail entities and meeting with commercial property owners from out of the area. So I'm going to be pinch hitting for him. Budget overall is pretty much status quo. In here, some of our revenue sharing agreements are in here. They're fully budgeted, but we don't always expend those funds. We have one with Anlin, we have one with Sierra Vista Mall. So the numbers usually drop off a little bit. In the Economic Development Division, I don't want to steal Chad's thunder. He probably wants to share this with you, but we have hit a 1-to-1 jobs housing balance ratio, which is the first time that I'm aware of. It is worth celebrating. I believe probably about 10 years ago, we were down at 0.5 or 0.6 jobs per rooftop. And the goal for the city for 20 plus years is 1 job for every house rooftop. Yeah. So great work to the economic development team and our community and the business community that we partner with. Some focus areas for them, the areas of town that are growing, Heritage, Loma Vista, ensuring Old Town is taken care of, Shaw Avenue revitalization, and the luxury auto complex or the West Germany or further West Germany, far west. Okay. Business retention and expansion, this is a huge focus for us. That is really where many jobs are created. Help existing businesses succeed and grow and support entrepreneurship, such as the Clovis Culinary Center, the SBDC, and other opportunities that arise. Continue to do business attraction in medical and high tech. There's some semiconductor projects underway, as well as working on some manufacturing deals. And then tourism, we are seeing still record TOT revenues come in, huge value for us and the community, and more hotels coming. And then strengthen local partnerships with the Chamber, Boot, and others. For the housing division, they are working on a 47-unit senior affordable housing development that has come before council at 135 Osmond. They'll be touching 30 homes with either housing rehab or down payment assistance, and then administering the CDBG block grant program, which is impacting the Marjorie Mason Center, providing funds there, the Clovis Senior Activity Center, and the Clovis Culinary Center. They're also funding some of the CIP projects, such as the Big Dry Creek at Letterman Park trail improvements, as well as alleys, and working on the mixed income zoning ordinance that will be coming to council this next year. And then for communications, informing residents of programs, services, and events with a big focus on Measure Y. We'll be developing or have developed a website that'll be launched to talk about what we're doing and place information on there. And then helping with the general plan update or outreach. They maintain all the content for city websites and social media sites, do media relations, and really document our history. So with that, that is the end of the departmental report. I have a few summary slides, but if you have any questions on economic development, housing, or communications, feel free.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Sorry to be this person. Two things. I think Measure Y, not only I want to see it on the website, but I would love to see in front of every project a sign that says this is brought to you by Measure C. Y.
Yeah, we have
Sorry,
staff
wrong
that are
measures.
playing with
Sorry, wrong
logos
measure.
right
Wrong.
now on what that could look like.
Yeah, I think, I
Yeah.
mean, small and large. So that's the idea of a small thing gets fixed in a park. This new, this new trash can is brought to you by Measure Y. So I just think people will be happy to know that. And my second point on economic development is the potential vacancy that could be caused by the shifting environment that we have economically. If we lose a big box store, those impacts are never good. So service to mall is a huge question mark to me. So I just would like to see that on the radar, that those, especially those larger square footage buildings, pose unique risks, I think, to the city. So if that could be a priority for this team, we may see a few of those stores go away, and then what are we gonna do? So
It is, and that's really who Chad is meeting with today and tomorrow in Las Vegas, are owners of those buildings.
pickleball everywhere. Thank you.
Any other questions? No. Okay, that completes, or you have a
I
couple
have
more
a few
slides?
summary
Open
slides.
up
So
public.
the 25-26 budget maintains and enhances public safety, implements Measure Y, continues investments in our older neighborhoods, invests in planning for the future, both in our facilities and our general plan land use, and provides for fiscal and services stability. And everyone else, oh, sorry, one more slide, just a reminder, we're recommending a continuance to June 2nd, 2025, but we have a few more meetings if council so chooses to continue talking about it. And everyone else got to say thank you to their, but, so if you had a hand in developing this budget, raise your hand. Staff, come on. Get them high, get them high. Back row, all of you guys. So as Jay likes to say, this thing takes an army to put together. This year was unique, lots of engagement and lots of thinking through how to implement, and I am deeply grateful. Jay, you've been awesome. Thanks for stepping up in a huge way this year on this. And the department head team, you've been a huge sounding board, thought process. I deeply appreciate you guys getting us to this point. So I would also like to thank the City Council for taking the time on these critical issues and the community for engaging. I really appreciate it since February. And with that, available for questions or comments?
Okay. Any questions or comments from the council? Okay. Go ahead.
Well, just broadly, I think, I don't know whether, I guess maybe three things. I struggle with the separation of Measure Y, because what I'm afraid of is you're a Measure Y employee and I am not. I don't like that language. That's not, we're hiring a team of people, and I would love to, I understand for the first year, but I think the integration of them, it's all money. We're gonna account for it and we're gonna audit it and all of that, but I just wish you'd be kind of careful, because Measure Y employees sound like you could go away. And I don't think, somebody was talking about culture, the chief was talking about the culture, and I think that's a worry for me. I found the budget book a little complicated, because that's why I said, well, wait, is the first part the whole thing and Measure Y is a subset, or is Measure Y additive to the front part of the book? I can do the math, I figured it out, but I think I appreciate year one, but I really would love to see integration more of, it's just it's a revenue source. and we're going to spend it in the category. So I still struggle with that. And then I just think the culture piece is everything. I don't remember a time we've hired 50 new employees in 1 year. Anybody else remember that? So why we are Clovis requires extra attention. So growth is not free. And it's not just the cost of salaries and a computer and a pen. So just whatever we can do to support our staff in communicating that culture and recognizing the culture and celebrating the culture with you, because that needs to hold on to for the next generation. So those would be my 2 comments on the overall budget. Thanks.
Any other comments? Okay. I just wanted to say on the digital format, it was so interactive. It goes to good reader for me. So if I look at City Attorney, I click it, it takes me to that page. So I really appreciate that. It was very quick and easy with regards to being at the table of contents and moving through the actual items. So great job on that. I think I have a different opinion with regards to, I like the Measure Y because I think we owe it to the public. That's why I really like it. Because the others, we've always had it, and so I think it shows, I know it can be complicated, but I think it allows us to really be accountable to the public, and it allows us to assess it and look at it much more clearly as we move forward, saying, hey, this is something that the public, and we've asked the public to look into, and we need to be stewards of. Because like, I appreciate what you did, Andy, in that you took us to these pre-meetings, went over the Measure Y, clearly showed that, hey, citizens, here's the Measure Y sort of accounting. It is heavily public safety, and that 92% is there. That's a powerful, powerful message. And then it can go into detail and go, this is where it's going into facilities, this is what's going into staff. And I think that messaging is important, and that accountability is important to the public. So I personally like it a lot. I don't know if the public, as they look at this book, we will see interested to see what they give us feedback on as well. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and open the public portion. If you have any comments, I know that we went over all the departments, so you can hit any of them. And if there's a question on any of them, we have the staff here to help answer any of your questions. Go ahead.
Have you ever seen a more immediate response to a citizen comment than yours tonight, Mr. Rollins? After that, you can't say anything else. No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
So Eric Rollins, I think you probably all know where I live at this point. Yes, I do appreciate the responsiveness. Just as a comment, I spent quite a bit of time during the meeting looking up things. Things as simple that government takes for granted are things like on E and F, they referred to adding positions or having funds, and those funds were in 2 different places. One was Measure Y and one was enterprise funds. Well, I don't think the average person watching a city council meeting has any idea, and I had to look that up to be sure. So just coming from a layman's perspective, you do a great job of meeting the mayor events, having community events where you meet. What about the possibility of having some sort of meeting with government where if citizens were interested in learning essentially the specialized language that you use to conduct business, I just see this as a possibility. I don't know if that can work, but I think that might be a way to maybe get more people involved, because I think a lot of people I know, when they come to a city council meeting, they're like, I don't know what they're saying, it's boring, it's the specialized language, and I really want, even if I don't always get what I want in the sense, I want more people from my community involved in city government, because I think that holds government more accountable, and I think that people's understanding, it just creates a bond that is important and will allow us to continue the Clovis way of life.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Anyone else? I know it's a big budget. Okay, seeing none? Okay. we'll bring it back. I think Andy said we can approve or we can extend, so that way we can come back again.
So
if we
the
have
CIP
questions.
does need to go to Planning Commission. That's happening this
Oh, okay.
Thursday. And then
So we
you'll have
still
a
have to
full
wait on that.
package on June 2nd. Yeah.
Okay,
I misspoke earlier.
okay. So this is for us to chew on, and then it'll come back what date again, Andy?
June 2nd is the
June 2nd?
recommendation.
Okay. So nothing needed tonight then? We just move on to the next item? Do we
We
need a motion to continue?
continue. Yeah.
To
a date
June
certain,
2nd?
June 2nd would
Okay.
be my preference.
All right, do we have a motion to continue to June 2nd?
I'll make a motion to continue the City of Clovis annual budget to the June 2nd meeting.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, that completes all our hearing items. Next is city manager comments.
Yes, just wanted to highlight an event this coming Saturday, May 24th. It's the Memorial Day run that's put together by Amy's team over in General Services. And I'm pretty sure Matt's going to be leading the pack at this one. Yep, very good. So come on out.
Not leading the pack.
We also have a community workshop for the general plan, and we're also still accepting applications for the general plan advisory committee. The workshop is on May 28th. Great way to come out and learn about our community, learn how the general plan works. It's also full of acronyms, so come on out. We're taking applications for the Clovis Youth Commission, as well as the Measure Y Oversight Committee. So feel free to apply. Applications are on the back table in the lobby. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Okay. Now we'll move to city council comments. Councilmember Basco. Councilmember Bessinger.
I want to congratulate the mayor on a very good mayor's breakfast this year, and all the hard work the staff put in to make sure that that went off seamlessly. On Saturday, I was late for the groundbreaking of Station 2. I was on a radio program that talked about growth and housing and things like that, and I was on with Nick Richardson from City of Fresno, and I want to thank Renee and her staff for giving me some tidbits of information I could throw out. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Ashbeck.
Second, the job well done to Mayor Moanatua on the mayor's breakfast. And despite my worry when he sat down next to me and I said, "How long is your speech?" He goes, "I don't know." And I thought, oh no. 8:28, exactly this time.
Yeah.
So it was quite impressive, but when you said you didn't know, I was like, oh dear. So anyway, well done. Very nice, very nice. And I think we'll all say the same thing about the fire department ribbon cutting. That was really great. And Chief, your comments were really lovely about the community. I think that really expressed, I think, how most of us, all of us feel about why we do what we do. None of us do it for ourselves. So anyway, it was really well done, and it was fun to see the community come out and to have nachos for breakfast at 10:20. Thanks to Vallarta and Panda Express for being out there. That was great. And then just a quick update. Measure C continues to do our best. We have a small work group that's going to meet again this Wednesday to see if we can integrate the two efforts. There's two efforts right now, and we're pretty sure if they both go, they'll both fail. So we're working really hard to put it together. It's a challenge. Now we have one measure, one effort, and we have a transportation for all, kind of a social justice effort. And now we have government working against government, which is a huge problem for me. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but we're going to try it one more time on Wednesday morning. So if you have any good peacemaking karma, send it our way. See if we can get this thing on the ballot. But it would be a shame if our region lost Measure C, and it's a real possibility. And I worry a lot about that. So keep trying. That's it.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Pierce.
Yeah, just kind of echoing what my colleagues have already said. The mayor's breakfast was really great. I know it was probably one of the biggest, I think, as far as attendance goes. And so that was really well done to everybody who I know spent long, long hours in preparation and all of that. The team that did the different videos and everything, it was really, really fantastic. And as far as anybody was there, came off completely seamlessly. It was really great. And of course, Mayor, your comments and that were were spot on and very much appreciated. And then also the Fire Station 2 ribbon cutting. I think for me, my favorite part of it was seeing the excitement of the guys over there at Station 2. And I got a tour of the building and got to talk with them some about just what the improvements actually mean for the guys that are there. And that was really, really great to just be able to hear, this is how it was, and now the new weight room, and this is how it helps us. And so it was really kind of driving home the importance of what we were able to do with that rebuild. And so to everyone who participated, I also thought it was really great to acknowledge the team that participated in the design and the build and all of that stuff too, from planning and development services and everyone else. So what a great team effort to do something that is so needed and providing such a great morale boost and all of that for the team that's working out of Fire Station 2. So look forward to a lot more opportunities to celebrate those types of things as we have those projects, not just for the fire department, but for other facilities and that continue, and that opportunity to give that support to our staff and the people who need those facilities. So great job, and again, looking forward to more of those in the future.
Okay. And I too would like to thank the staff, because I think it was Chad, Taylor, you worked really hard, Rebecca did a lot of, I didn't even know I had to choose table colors, but and Brianna, yeah. And to the foundation, the Clovis community, they had to do a lot of the work. And then the robotics team, they stayed afterwards, cleaned everything up. And then from the Clark students, instead of Uche, they came over to sing. So just excellent. And Mayor Pro Tem, you excellent job as MC. And then to the rest of the council for us all being there, and to our two beautiful rodeo queen and Miss Clovis for being up there on the stage with us. So excellent job. Station 2, Chief, the people who came, they also came, a lot of them came to that Helm Ranch Trail ribbon cutting. And so there's such a sense of ownership of people there who's paying attention. And they came and they said, hey, yeah, we were over there. And so thank you for investing. And they were just so proud of how beautiful their fire station is right there. And so, and I agree with Councilmember Ashbrook, your comments were spot on. That was excellent. And so the Motorama event this weekend, I heard that is now probably the second largest in the state. The largest is in Pismo. They get 1,000 cars. We're at over 700 cars now. And so I think we're going to beat Pismo pretty soon, because if you went down...
Coachella and Pismo in the same city? Wow.
But it was awesome. There were so many cars, and people were just walking all the side streets and up and down Pulaski. They just did such an excellent job. Hopefully, Boot and all the businesses of O-Town are just happy with the draw of the people that came. Thursday is the COG meeting, and I think a big item on there is Measure C. And so we'll see how your meeting... Oh, no, it's next week, huh? It's next week. Okay, good. So it's next week. So as the agenda comes out, I will inform the city and also the council, because Measure C is going to be big on that item. And so we'll see what happens there. That's all I have. And so this time, we're going to go ahead and move into closed session. The one item is conference with labor negotiators. And if you have any comments on that, we're going to go ahead and open the public comment. Okay, seeing none. Okay, we're going to go into it. I don't think we have anything to report out. So